He's slipping, as you call it. We'll let you guys go. Who's opposing it?
Conley and I are opposing each other.
Okay, I thought you guys said no. That's fine. You know,
Use the same way pulled up the pocket.
you guys. Yeah, you guys look separately. Sorry, I first. Yes. Yeah. All right, just give us a couple more minutes. We still got people coming in, so we can get tickets passed out. First ones we're going to do is going to be the blue tickets. The reason you have the tickets is so that it doesn't look like one side is getting more people to ask questions than the other. And it's not staged that way. It works out better. Any veterans in the house? Would you lead us? We'll open up in prayer. Do we have any pastors in the house? Anybody like to volunteer to open in prayer? All right, I'll do it. Y'all will stand. We'll go ahead and open in prayer, and then we'll do the pledges, and then I'll go through the rules and stuff. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come tonight. We thank you that we still have a free nation and that we have a government that works for us, the people. We thank you for the people that have shown up tonight in support of this candidate forum. We ask that you give them the wisdom, the knowledge that they need to be able to vote for the people that will bring this country back to you. We ask that the things that are said and done here tonight will bring honor and glory to you, that people will keep this civil, and that coming in as springs, they'll leave as springs. We ask it in Christ's name.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
These are the rules, in case you hadn't heard. Each candidate will have 3 minutes for an opening statement. Questions will be limited to 1 minute, with responses at 2 minutes. We have a timekeeper. This is our timekeeper. She'll let everybody know.
I'll hold up my finger for 1 minute, and I will say stop when your 3 minutes are up.
Candidates will be given 2 rebuttal cards. That's in case you have a problem with something that's brought up, and you can rebut that. And then candidates will be given a 30-second rebuttal time if their opponent refers to them in their response as well. You don't have to use a rebuttal card, but if your opponent uses your name and says something about you, go on that and they get 30 seconds. Candidates will then be given 3 minutes for a closing statement. We have 3 questions that were provided to the candidates ahead of time. And then after we do those, we'll open up a couple from the floor, and then we'll have some as well to bring across. So we're going to start. Who's opening up? Floyd's opening up. You're opening up in 3 minutes. That's what you guys looked on, right? Okay.
Thank everyone for being here tonight. Most of you know me, the ones that don't, I'm Floyd Jackson. I was your past mayor out here for 6 terms. And the qualifications, I'm going to come back into the city as a councilman. I'm going to run my merits and my accomplishments that I accomplished while I was in office. I was 6-term mayor, 2-term councilman. I completed all the schooling that was required. I've lived out here for 31 years, raised 4 children, 2 that wasn't mine, and my grandchildren are living out here now. I worked very well with the commissioners, the JP, the judge, the outside agencies, the TxDOT, FEMA, emergency management, the CERT. We've had schools in here. And I worked on the JP and the judges and commissioners' campaigns for them. I understand the budgets that we're dealing with, and I've written 6 of them, so I understand them quite well. I have a knowledge, and I've written several ordinances out here, golf court ordinance being one of them. And I know Roman Forest, the knowledge, but I have the knowledge of it, the past, the way it used to be, things that was done, things that was, people that were out here, and I know how it's going right now. And like I said, I have raised my family here. I want to get back in here. There's things that I know I can do. I know I can help. I can get the link opened that up again. Where we have communications with our commissioners, communications with the county judge, talk to them on a regular basis, and just open things up. And I know that I can work with their mayor. Thank you.
I'd like to invite everyone also, if you don't know me, my name is Conley Wallace. I am currently a city councilman, position 5. Liz, my wife of 41 years, have lived here. We built our home here, and we've raised our children here, and our grandchildren have grown up here. To tell you a little bit about me, I have followed in the footsteps of my father in the steel foundry industry and gained 40 years of experience. The last 25 years, I have been a manager within our plant. In 2010, I was asked to run for city council, which I did, and I was elected. I started to see discrepancies, which disturbed me greatly. So I brought this to the attention of my fellow council people. And, you know, it brought many questions of some of our city officials. We determined financial information being given to council was sometimes false. So the council hired a professional, licensed auditing firm to come in and audit our books. You know, we had to do this to find out where the city stood firmly on its finances to take care of the needs of our city. We didn't know.
1 minute.
There has to be transparency so that we know our tax dollars are being spent wisely. We have accomplished many things since I have been in office due to the hard work of the council I serve with. 3 minutes, 1 minute left. I can't tell you all the changes that has happened within the last 2 years. I left the literature up here, you can look at it. So, I will close now, but these are the things that we're looking at right now. And this city infrastructure is very strong at this point. Thank you.
Okay, Floyd opened up, so I'll go to you for the first question. First question, and these were given to the candidates ahead of time, so they already know what the questions are going to be. Candidates quite often talk about the issues of the city, but we don't always hear the solutions to these issues. What are the 2 most important issues you wish to address if you're elected or elected to the city council, and what are your solutions to these issues?
The biggest issue right now, as I hear from the citizens, is the problem of Kings Colony. The problems are drugs, guns, loud music. Short-term, long-term solutions. Number 1, establish a joint task force between the Sheriff's Department, Constable, Precinct 4, and the Rolling Forest Police Department. Number 2, hire dedicated officers to run drug interdiction, to intercept money from the drug dealers. Hey, drug money seized then can be used to alleviate the police department's budget, giving us the ability to hire more law enforcement to further attack the problem and bring the fight to Kings Colony instead of waiting for them to bring it to us.
1 minute.
Long term, we need to annex Kings Colony. Doing this will allow greater control of the development, the ability to enforce city code and ordinances. Bond, grants for infrastructure. That's the next one.
I also have a problem with Kings Colony, and for y'all that remember, those of y'all that don't, here was a petition that I wrote. Here's the signatures on these petitions that were passed out, and I did have help with this. I met with our now Senator Brandon Cracker. I met with State Representative Ted Poe, met with Sheriff Tommy Gage, and Lenore's Heavens Army, the Lenore Purvis, who deals with sex problems out here with people, and she had sex crimes unit in Houston come out here. We toured Kings Colony. We went through it several times, and I mean, I've done everything that I can do. I contacted the FBI. Ted Poe gave me a number to contact. I was already talking to their boss, so there's no need to go any farther with that. We have to increase our police department out here and our salaries if we're going to move into Kings Colony over there. We don't have enough police officers to do it right now. So the police officers is definitely important. Second thing, we got congestion up here. We're fixing to be hit real hard with traffic. So we're going to have to get with the commissioner. We're going to sit down with the county judge, talk to them about widening this road, doing whatever we got to do, or getting another outlet out of here, which I believe there is going to be one. But we're going to have to do something, or we're going to have a traffic jam right up here that's going to be unbelievable. That's the 2 main things right now that I have.
The second question is, East Montgomery County is the fastest growing area of the Houston metropolitan area. As a result, East Montgomery County has increased traffic, more businesses, increased population, and increased crime. What's your stance on steering economic development of the Inland Forest?
I believe that we need to have bonds and grants for infrastructure. 1, before we even approach the subject of bonds, we must first have a citywide plan of action. A, we need 2, 5, 10-year engineering plans. We must establish and rank projects through city workshops with our citizens' input based on the need, availability of funding. Now, this puts us in a position to go after grant money from local, state, federal entities. And this will alleviate the need for a bond. But before we go to the voters for a bond, we must have a plan of action.
1 minute.
Come through.
The grant money is wonderful, we can go get it. As I told you, we, in that 10-year period, had $600,000 worth of grant money come in. I did write a bond to redo it. Well, I had a bond written, excuse me, I did not write it. We had a person write the bond to redo the roads and the ditches. It was turned down by the city. I still think it should be written again, to see if they're interested in it. Also, another idea that we may have, if we can find a developer that's got the money, that knows what he's doing, is come in here and develop sections 3 and 4 and talk about annexing sections, part of sections 3 and 4, or all of sections 3 and 4, depending on what the developer comes in and produces. And maybe part of 5 back here, because there's people back here that does want to become part of the city. That would give us 1, 2, 3, and 4. And of course, as you know, we got coming across the road. We've got a road coming in from Kingwood, as I understand, here in a short time.
1 minute.
Coming into but anyway, that is our biggest problems, is our roads and getting people in here that will help us develop what we got. The developer come in and actually know what he's doing and develop sections 3 and 4 or 5. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to call out some numbers here. If you would, go ahead and come up when your number's called. If you want to answer a question or ask a question, we're using the blue tickets. I'm just going to read off the last 2 numbers. 5-4. 6-2 will be next. 6-8 will be after that. And 5-6. Yes, sir.
2 of my major concerns for the city of Rome Forest has to do with the annexation of Tabola and the ditches out here. I'd like to know both the candidates' stance on both of those issues.
So when you come up, I'm hard here.
His question was, he wants to know what your stance is on the annexation of Tabola and why you needed the ditches.
The ditch issue for drainage.
Okay. Who's
You start first.
Okay. The annexation of the Bolton. I talked to them down there when I was still in office. I really don't think that that's a good idea, and I'm going to tell you why. Because right now, we're on the city here. At this point, this is all we are. What I was talking about, possible growth into 3 and 4, we don't know if it will happen. We know how big Tabolta is going to be. If we go after Tabolta, yes, there'll be more money, but Tabolta will have more homes, more people, and Tabolta will be running the whole show. So that's what I think about the annexation of Tabolta. No, I'm against it at this point. Ditches most definitely need to be done. I know that they've been needing to be done. They're just getting the money to do them. Ed Reinhardt has done what he could when he can. And I don't know, I understand the cities, well, I can see where they're, from the time I left to now, they've got over $100,000 more income than I ever had. So there may be time, there may be time to, some money there, they can get out there. The boulevard, the ditches were done on the boulevard. That was a great job. It come in real good when that big rain come, or we'd had a mess up there. But yes, most definitely the ditches need to be done. But here again, it's going to be very expensive if you have to go back and concrete driveways. Okay, thank you.
Number 62.
Based on the ongoing investigation of the past.
I was just
Hang on.
waiting for you to
So go ahead.
go next. He's still got to answer.
Let him answer.
I did. I be ready.
Sit down, David.
Sorry, Tom.
All right. Annexation for Volvo. That's a bucket of worms. First of all, we don't know the construction of this development. Seen it, you know, we don't know what the codes were. This is something that has to be investigated. And I agree with Floyd. They will outdo us. They will take over us. But we have to look at ways for our city to get more income. Because we get no sales tax dollars. All we have is property and home taxes. That's all we have. And we do have some franchise taxes. So, I don't know, it just take an awful lot of studying and just to think about the vote. I like 3 and 4. Annexation.
1 minute.
But it's something that has to be studied. Because once you annex them, you own them, and you owe them what you get. Now, ditches. This is a big, big deal. What you talked about earlier that they had a bond. Well, my understanding about the bond, it was a bond up, but there was no engineering before it. This is what I've been told. But this is a huge, huge field, and that's when we talked a while ago about getting, you know, we need to get with municipalities around here, we need to get with the county. We need to have a strong relationship with the county. And just see what we can get, because when you talk about roads and ditches,
Time.
it's huge.
Thank you. I guess you're talking. You ready?
So 62 then? Based on the ongoing investigation of the past administrations by Texas Rangers and local law enforcement, how can each of you effectively say as a citizen of Roman Forest, ethically, that you can represent them ethically and honestly in their best interest?
You said I'm not the office.
Yes, sir. Based on the ongoing investigation of the past administration, how can each of you tell me, as a citizen of Roman Forest, that you have the best interests of the citizens and right to best represent their interests ethically and honestly, represent their best interests?
I can't really answer that because I'm not involved in that.
Me? Sure. Okay. From that audit, there was a company called Tax Plus. I have their audit right here. They sent me, and they claimed that everything was fine. What you don't understand on the audit is this audit was sent out. An audit is done on well, here's a major company, one of the certified bonding agencies. Let's see. It's an audit designed to provide reasonable but not absolute assurance because it will not perform detailed examination. The examination that y'all had, the audit that we paid for was $1,250. The 2 audits you have paid for are $15,250. They don't follow that criteria. They go to everything on there, everything, and look at everything. I was given this after I was given this, I sent it to council. Council was given this. The attorney was given this, and we're audited by the Texas Municipal League. When the Texas Municipal League comes down, they look at all of this, they go over that, and they found no problem. So here we are. I've got a TML attorney. I had 1 or 2 people arguing council. That's all. I don't have a problem in the world. I know I was doing right. I don't have a problem in the world. I followed the book. books, did what I was told, and like I said, I didn't call for a point-to-point audit because it was $12,000 or $15,250 versus $1,250, and today, we still don't know if any money's missing. So, I mean, nobody's been charged, I'm not even being talked to. So, that's $30,000 somebody's got in their pocket somewhere, the attorneys, for the accountants. That's all I have.
I have a rebuttal. The audit, that tax plus, whatever, well, I'm talking to them anyway. That audit was not licensed by the state of Texas. That audit confirmed. That year, we rolled over $8,000. The following year, after we found out what we had with this audit, we paid $15,000 for. We paid King Road. We replaced all non-legible, missing street signs, stop signs. We done some other little things, and we rolled over, even spending this $15,000, we rolled over 89.
And I have a rebuttal, sir. All right. I have your budgets right here, showing your budgets, every one of them. And I can tell you, when I left office, we had $379,568 tax dollars, and that was our income. And our total income was $604,125. As of this year, last year, they had $405,462 with an income of $704,295. That's $100,178 more than we had. Plus, they did not have a maintenance man that was working, and we're still short a cop. So money, there's where money's at. And she was not licensed. I did not bring the lady in here. She's been used all by everybody before.
Okay, number 68. No. 56. Now's your time to ask him. 60.
Gentlemen, fellow council people, don't y'all love being on the phone? Anyway, my question was about Ebola, and y'all pretty much answered that. So I'm gonna save some time, just like the news, or people want y'all gonna be serving food on election day?
Certainly.
Mediator, I will yield the floor to anybody that has a question. Mine's been answered. So if anybody has a question, I will yield the floor.
What would you like?
Does anybody have a question? I will yield the floor. There we go. I got one back there. All right.
Okay. My question is mainly for Conley, but it goes to both candidates. Conley, your campaign has been very far on the negative side as far as what direction we should be headed in. Besides the fact that you have been a good candidate because you pointed out certain discrepancies, in what way would you be a better candidate than your opponents in the future?
Well, okay. He served 12 terms as mayor. 12 years as mayor. He had terms in council. And we've taken over, by the citizens. What is he going to do now that he didn't do in the years that he served? What? The infrastructure is great here. What is he going to do now? What is messed up here? What's wrong? Tell me what's wrong with what we're doing.
Can I add? My question is, don't be negative. I want to ask you what you can do. I don't want to hear what he can't do. I want to hear what you were going to do.
I've been doing it.
Well, okay, well, if you have been doing it, what else are you going to do that's different, that's better?
We're going to be working towards our roads and our ditches. That is the main concern in Kings Common. But you have to sit down and talk this thing over, and you have to have citizens' input, you got to have council's input. This is a serious, serious matter, but it's the most important matter towards the city.
Is that directed to me as well, Doug? Okay. Yes, I've served. I've got the knowledge that we got now serving out here. And I'll tell all of you, this is not an I, it's a we. I mean, we had people working with us, and we worked together, and we served, and we got what we got to working together. But I will say one thing. I did come in here and go over the books, the minutes, and in 4 years, Councilman Wallace has placed 3 things on the agenda. And I just went from that 4 year myself, and I placed over 70 or 80. But, I mean, I know how to put things on the agenda to get it done. Bring it forward, put it up there. But, Councilman, you only put 3 things on the agenda. And the last one was getting this building updated.
You wasn't here when I put it. You wasn't here.
I got the minutes out. You can ask your secretary.
Okay.
A little pretty red.
Number 2. 02. 73.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on the swimming pool in the park, and what do you think the city's role should be in upgrading and maintaining that?
Okay. The park and swimming pool up there is better than it's ever been. Liz, I know you're responsible for the majority of that, and I think you've done an excellent job on it. I really like the way the pool looks and the guards. I don't know, I guess we've got a pool service now instead of the maintenance man doing it, but that's okay, it's working. So yes, the park needs to be expanded. I'd like to see it expanded. Supposedly, I was here yesterday, there's a gentleman wanting to give $10,000 to the park. Now, for, at least that's what I was told from some other people, but we'll see if that comes true. And if that happens, maybe the Burke Pavilion, do you have a grant for the Burke Pavilion?
The grant has been approved.
Okay, right there, we can start with that, yes. That'd be great. I'm all for it.
There are plans to replace the pavilion next year. We have the grant. We have taken the grant with MSED's approval and put it to the state, parks and whatever they're called, to get a larger grant that's going to help us put new playground equipment. And we do have the plans for the pavilion. And this is going to happen, I believe. I mean, we're going to get new rides and all out for our children, and it's going to be great.
Thank you. Number 96. $95. 77. Pardon me? Blue. 77. 75. 92. Okay. Okay.
And this is a touchy subject for a lot of the residents, just by following the social media for the city. But I know Tony's run his campaign on beautifying the city, but what do you guys have in plan for these columns at the front of Roman Forest? Because Tavola's coming in and they have a beautiful entryway, and we look like a bunch of schmucks because those things look terrible.
I agree. The columns themselves, they're outside city limits. So city money cannot, and this is part of the thing that I know, city money cannot be used on that. Money has to come from donations or grants because it is outside the city limits. The last time they were rebuilt, I was part of that rebuild, and somewhere the prints are still in here for it. When they were tearing them down, I believe Mary, you stopped them from tearing them down, and
Why?
well, no. Before you say that, let me say I was in agreement with him because I thought we could do something with it, or I wanted to do something with it and make it pretty. I don't know. Nobody's doing anything with it right now. We don't have any committees. We don't have anything going on. I mean, there's been some talk about it, but that's it, talk. Nobody's done a thing. So if we don't do something with it, yeah, it's as much as I hate to say it. Now, they look horrible, and we're going to do something with them or take them down one or two. That's my opinion.
Cause that is that's a 50-50. I mean, people want to chop your head off and talk about chopping copies down, and some people want them down. But there is progress moving forward. There is a committee that's going to be formed again by Chuck Jones. I'm just telling you what I've been told. Just what I'm telling you.
When he did it last time, they still look like crap.
I know.
And a lot of that money went somewhere that nobody knows where it went. So, really, we want to revisit that? I don't think so.
Well, you got any suggestions?
Tear them down. They're nice.
I am sure that we could go to a vote and they would tear them down next week. I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, let's take pictures of them.
Okay, as moderator, let me address that. The best way to handle that is to bring it up at your city council meeting, go to your city councilman at that time, tell them what you want done, get on the agenda, and get a vote, and take care of it that way. This isn't really the time to, I know it's a high topic. I've been through a number of it. I was there when the commissioner took the other two down, and there was a big deal for that too. So, that's my suggestion for that one. Do we have anybody else that has a question for these gentlemen? Go ahead.
First, I want to thank City Council for taking care of the police officers and raising their pay and bringing them close to what a normal living wage would be, and I say close to continue to have a quality police force and to take care of King's Colony. You're going to have to add officers and make sure that those officers are paid what they need to be paid to keep good officers on board and not lose them like some of the officers we have in the past. I would ask each one of you, what are you going to do in the future to ensure that the police department is adequately funded so that they can hire the officers that we're going to need to handle the King's Colony and the growth we're going to see at Ebola and across the street, because we're going to have more traffic through here and we're going to see more crime if we don't ensure that the police department is properly paid and staffed.
Okay. I agree with you 100%. And you have to have funds to do these things. And it's not just the police department, it's city employees. It's across the board. You know, we've got to take care of our people. Chief and I have talked. We gave them, they got a pay raise this October. And I told the chief, if things continue as they are right now with the finances, there's no telling what we can do in the future, because we are looking fantastic financially right now, and it's getting better.
What you don't have spot here, Chief. Every budget I proposed had anywhere from 3 to 5% pay raise for the police department. Am I right? That's what I proposed. Council did not go with it. Not all council, but all it takes is 3. Council did not go with it. I have been trying to get them up. When I come out here, the police officers were making $6 an hour. That's it. No benefits, no holidays, no nothing. Since then, they've got benefits. While I was mayor out here, they got benefits, they got holidays. They've got an increase, a pretty good jump. We spent a lot of money on the police department, yes. But we need to spend more on the police department. We need to get their salaries on up. But I'm just, you think it's bad now, you ought to saw it when I come in. And that's the way it had been even before the other mayors. So, you know, until somebody addressed it.
1 minute.
1 minute. Until somebody addressed it, it was not addressed. I want to push to keep putting money in the police department. I want to keep pushing it. And get more officers, get the officer that they've been missing now for 2 years. They need that officer back. No reason he's not hired. He should be hired. That's it. Thank you.
Yes, I know this has been asked to you, Mr. Wallace, a couple of times. I've heard a lot of statements of saying, we should do this, we should do that. And I think this is what Nolan was asking also. I want to know what you're going to do. And my second part to that question is going to be, I've had some major problems up in the city here recently. I've sent certified letters to the mayor. Do you know anything about them? And if not, why not? And are you going to be able to address that further? Because if it looks like it's a major problem, I think all of council should know. Am I incorrect?
Agreed.
I just would like to know about what you can do. I know we need to have good, I've talked to the commissioner more myself than I think I ever should have to. He knows me by name. And I never would have had to do that 3-4 years ago.
Well, me as council, that's what I need out of it. Now, all I can do is, I can address this with the mayor tomorrow. We'll get back to you. I didn't know about the.
Can I just go in 1 second? This is not just something that happened last week. This has been going over for a year. And I will present all of council at our next meeting, but I just briefly wanted to touch on this tonight.
It'll be looked into.
I mean, it seems like all of council should know, and it should not be my job to contact every single one of you and let you know. I have very good stories, so I don't have time for that. So, that's my question.
Did you want to touch on that?
Oh, yes. I know the problem you're talking about, you did contact me, which happens quite often. People still contact me, but I did go out there and see it. David's got the same problem behind you, and even the commissioner says it's a problem that should be solved here. Personally, I believe it's the inspector's job to take care of that, to make sure it's right. I can't speak because I'm not on council right now, but you've got a bad, you never had that drainage problem before, because I know where you live, and I know where David lives. And neither one of you ever had that kind of drainage problem before until they built that big, huge driveway there with that big hump and everything.
As a part of council, what would you do to help me?
As
a part of council, would you be more willing to help?
Of course.
In the future?
Anytime you call, anybody that's ever called me, I come out. I didn't care who, by myself or whoever, I've always come out and did my best. I couldn't always fix everything, but I did my best. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for these two from the audience? Yes, sir?
You guys leave me and Tony will time now.
I got 45 minutes for each segment, so we're still fine. We got till midnight.
I think I heard you say that the city is in great financial condition. If that's the case, why can't we fix some of these flooding problems we have? Spend some of that money on that. There's people here whose homes have gotten water in several times. And nothing, well, I shouldn't say nothing. Recently, I've seen some work being done along Magnolia Bend, near where I live. But it hasn't really taken care of the problem because the water still lays in those ditches.
Okay.
So if we're flush with money, why can't we take care of the problems?
We're not flush with money.
Well, I heard you say the finances were in good shape.
Compared to prior year.
Well,
Now,
it seems to me, I've lived here 32 years, and the flooding problems have progressively gotten worse. I shouldn't say it. I think once since I've lived here, the county came in and redid the ditches, and they cleaned everybody's culverts. And that was probably 20-some years ago. And since then, nothing's really been done that I can see. except after that last 5-inch rain we had.
Time, your question's over, now he gets to answer.
Well, when you talk about ditches, what we're doing right now is we're addressing with the maintenance department what we can. We can try to fix the worst problem, and then our maintenance department goes out and tries to fix that. But when you start talking about ditches, you're talking about engineering. You're talking about a ton of money. That's what we talked about earlier. It's major. You can't, the revenue that you have to come up with to meeting these ditches, you got to get a grant, bond. We got to figure out, why I was talking earlier about having a workshop with citizens and council to figure out how we can come up with the monies. State grant, I don't know. That's what we got to work towards with these.
Could I have a rebuttal? I mean, I hear a lot of answers here that we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to have a meeting, we got to have a committee. What have we been doing all the time? I mean, these problems aren't new. These problems have been here for years.
Understand that.
May I say something? This is the reason I also think we need the second maintenance person out here, to help during this time when it's slack. And also a major safety feature without having one person operate equipment by itself. But when I was in, we had Glenn drag a tire through several of them. That's how we cleaned the ones that people said they was having problems with. We put the tractor on a rope through it or wire through it, and we drag that tire through it and drag it out. Our problem is all the silt has come up now so high in the ditches. The ditches have got to be dug out. And the new homes that's being built right now, there's a problem. They're being built up high. So once you start on these ditches, you're going to have the older homes is going to have lower ditches. Your newer homes are going to have the higher ditches. Nobody's taking that into consideration, and that's going to be something to deal with. But they can't. Glenn can still. I mean, if you got a ditch clogged up, he can shoot an arrow through there and drag a tire through there, and he drags out so much stuff like that, or he used to do for me.
All right, thank you all. I'll let you speak after they do the closing.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Yes,
sir. If it's okay. Continuing to talk about this, the biggest concern from the person in the engineering field is that, like Floyd touched on development, as we develop more impermeability, which means putting houses up where the water runs off faster, cleaning out the ditches where it runs off fast. All we do is transfer a problem from here downstream. Unless it's a comprehensive issue where the county and the state take up and have an opportunity for the water to go someplace, all we're doing is moving a problem from my neighborhood into your neighborhood, into your neighborhood. So, but the issue that I've seen here is what's being done with the new housing. Why aren't our developers putting some of this bill, because they're making a living in my neighborhood. The trucks that come through my neighborhood are tearing up my streets. The culverts that are being put in shouldn't be. Why are we relying on them to do something in good faith? How come we aren't having somebody follow them up? Check the elevations, make sure that the upstream and the downstream are equal, so that we have flow. Where are we going to get the money for us for our permit? If the guy comes in here with a permit and requests, why aren't we recovering that revenue?
Well, we've been beating on this drum a long time. You've got to have it engineered, and your builders are supposed to shoot their grades. They're supposed to do all of this stuff. And we have a building inspecting firm, and it's on them and it's on the owner and the building inspecting firm. But this drainage deal is huge. It's just, golly, I don't know what to say about that. You got to start somewhere. We've talked about it. If anybody's got a suggestion, knows how to do it, let me know.
had a question on that. When I built my house, it's only,
Floyd is response.
Response?
Yep.
Okay.
You have the opportunity. Oh.
Yes, Steve, I know what you're saying there. This will be very expensive because they're gonna have to come in there and there's gonna have to be culverts tore up. And looking at it, I'm gonna say the newer homes are gonna be the one to be the cheapest. If we're gonna do it, it's gonna be the cheapest to have done because there's a lot fewer of them than there is the older homes. Of course, some of the older homes have crushed driveways in there, and that really causes a problem too when you get the stoppage there. So I'm gonna have to agree with Conley on this. Without an engineer coming in here and shooting this, you've got to start one place and start going. But you got to have the money right there to do it with. It's got to be allotted to that, and it's got to be set on that and go with that. And you can just start one little bit at a time, and that's the only way you can do it, because we would never have the money to come in here and do all these streets or ditches at one time like that. I mean, it just won't be there. Perhaps you can get a grant or a bond. Now, if you want to pass a bond, remember I tried that before, it didn't work.
What was the quote on the engineering study, gentlemen, that we had? Just the engineering study, Mayor, former Mayor.
I don't remember.
$100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want that to be out there. That was just the engineering study. Sorry.
Okay, we're at time right now. I'm going to take a minute, if I can, of personal privilege. The drainage issue is not just a problem in Roman Forest. The drainage issue is all of East County. Just like the transportation issue is a problem with East County. We've had very little, as far as a comprehensive plan in East County, for building, for roads, for ditches, for floods, for you name it. It's got to change. And I respect all of y'all for your thoughts and opinions tonight. Keep it going. Continue to talk to the city council. Continue to talk to the county commissioner, because it's the only way it's going to get changed. The developers have had their freedom to do whatever they want to in East County, and they have not been held responsible by our government, and it's got to stop. And you're the only ones that are going to make it happen. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for that. Closing the statements. You opened up. Conley, you'll start your 3-minute closing statement.
Okay. I'd like to thank the moderator. In regards to my opponent, the past mayor of Roman Forest, I feel that there are many issues that should not be forgotten or swept under the rug in this election. What was accomplished in his several terms as city official, there was no transparency in his business duties, having only himself as a signer on Roman Forest bank accounts. This leaves a great deal in our city coffer to know how it's been affected. Until this is brought to the attention of the council, the procedures were put in place to ensure that there's no questionable withdrawals from city funds. My opponent stressed that I do not support the police department. I strongly disagree with that statement. His wasteful actions as mayor did not enable the police department or the city employees to receive well-deserved pay increases and new equipment. And in the time I've been in office, not only did the police department recently get a pay increase in October of this year, but also a much needed drug law. We could have accomplished this much quicker, but financial situation, we had to work out of it, and this is where we are now. We'll start to move on. So, and you know, we talked about the newsletter not being out and things like this. Well, we are now
1 minute.
Facebook, we have Facebook. We have upgraded the website, everything that happens in council is on that. Now, I know there's a lot of elderly people that do not have any, computer savvy, I guess, but all they have to do is come up here and ask us, and we will print it out for them. So, in closing, I want to thank the great people that I've worked with to make Home Course the best place to live. And I ask for your continued support on Election Day, November the 4th, by voting for me, knowing that your vote will be an ethical, trustworthy person. Thank you.
Thank you all for allowing us this opportunity. I'm glad to read, but I want to make sure that we get everything out here tonight. I don't want letters flying around later on that I don't get a chance to answer. So that's why I wanted everything out tonight too. And I followed every standard set and every way. The auditor that we were using was not a licensed auditor, but once again, I wasn't the only one that was fooled by that. For about, 7, 8 years, got the Texas Misbelief, lawyer, counsel. So I wasn't the only one that made that mistake. I'll accept my mistakes. And that was one that I did make, that I didn't catch the fact that she was not an auditor like that. But 1250 versus 1550s, a lot different too. I'm going to ask you for your vote. I love this place. I've been out here. Any of y'all, and the ones that know me, you can call me at any time for any reason, and I'll answer you. And let me say one other thing. I do not want the mayor's job. I'm fine right here. Had I wanted the mayor's job, I could get it. He can have the mayor's job. I don't need to stress. But I do know what it takes to keep this thing going. And I've got the experience behind me, the knowledge, and I know how to work with the people that's upstairs, and they're personal friends, not just acquaintances. They're personal friends. And I can make it happen. And I'm going to ask you, please give me your vote, and I'll continue to do what I was doing in the past. And like I said, if there are mistakes made, I accept my mistake. If they don't want to, that's fine. But, I want everything out right now, so like I said, we don't get a letter floating out through there somewhere a little bit later on with assassination.
1 minute.
1 minute. We don't need that out there. So, again, I just ask you for your vote, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hello everybody, my name is David Mullane. I've been a citizen out here for about 22 years off and on. I'm running in position 3 unopposed, so I'm just going to introduce myself and sit down. Tell you a little bit about myself. I'm married to your city secretary, so I think that's a plus for me. I get a little brief every morning over what's going on in the city, the police department, the mayor, and the maintenance, so I find that refreshing. So, anyway, I look forward to serving with the council members. I think the city's done a great job in the last 2 years. What I've seen, I've become a council meetings now for about 6 years, and I've really seen a great turnaround in this city. Had a lot of things done, a lot of increases, a lot of new looks, a lot of new moving forward, and I think it was long past due. I look forward to continuing to work with the existing council or the new council to help with your drainage issues. I know that's important out here with your roads. Obviously, that's important. Me and the chief get along great. He has my ear, and I believe I have his. And I like to look forward to working with him on any issues he has. I believe safety is what draws us here, and it draws me back here. When I move back in this area, I want to live out here for the main reason because it's a safe place to live. If it wasn't, I don't think a lot of us would be living here. But I do understand you're suffering with the drainage issues, and I would like to work with council to get those solved the best we can. Your roads, I think we all live down the Conley River. And over the years, it's just going to get worse, and that's something we got to address in the future. Like I said, I want to compliment this current council and the mayor. They get along great. I've seen them turn over a budget 23 minutes flat. Anyway, I'd like to just welcome you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve, and I look forward to serving you.
Okay, we'll start with the other two candidates. I can't remember who won the coin toss. Okay. 3 minutes, and then for each of you, and then we'll start into the questions.
Well, some of you guys know me. My name's Tony Garza. I'm running for City Council Position 1. I have been married for 18 years. We moved here in 2005, built a home here. We could have built a home anywhere. We decided to build one here. My wife grew up here. Her family's been here. You know, the reason why I want to run for City Council is there's a lot of things that I see, mainly in the beautification departments, going down the boulevard, stumps that's been there for years. They have trees growing up on the side of it. $500, get a stump grinder, clean it. Park area, weed eating, edging, blowing, clean that up. You know, that's what's got me involved. I really want to clean the city up. The police department, you know, just like I said, we moved here in 2005, and I own a commercial mowing company. I pay my mowers, guys to mow grass, more than what they make. Last year I had a guy making $15 an hour mowing grass. They was making 12, now they're making 14. When I heard that, I was shocked. I was thinking, you know, 20, 22, 25, I don't know. That was very shocking to me. And then seeing the big turnover of police officers that come in and go out. Every time you drive by, you see a new cop. You know, I think in order to have good protection, good police, we need to pay them much better. I want to see the same cop. I don't want to see a whole bunch of new guys come in, get trained, go to HPD, go to Harris County, you know, they're going somewhere else because, you know, they're going to get more money somewhere else. That's why I'm getting involved. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, thank y'all for coming tonight. My name is Scott Baker. I'm running for re-election, City Council Position 1. Been living here. We built the house, me and my wife, Andy Baker. We built the house here in 2002. We've raised 2 kids. Both went to A&M as myself back in the 80s. Graduated from New Caney High School. Went to work for Campbell Concrete, where I've been working for 20 years. Now a assistant area supervisor over production. I have about 60 to 75 guys that work for me, under me. I too moved here because it was so safe, growing up in New Caney, coming through Roman Forest to go to school. You know, the police, you always hear the police are so bad here, you know, and that keeps all the criminals out. And I did approve the passing of the budget to give the police department the biggest raise they've ever had in city history. That's it.
Well, that was short and sweet.
All that.
Good. Now comes the fun part. All right, I'll go back to the questions that you're given. Candidates quite often talk about many issues with the city, but we don't always hear the solutions to these issues. And you've heard some of those tonight. So what are the two most important issues you wish to address if elected to city council or re-elected? And what are your solutions to these issues? I'll let you start.
I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't care.
You know, just like I said, my biggest thing is beautification. The bowl is coming up, beautiful down there, beautiful. I know, just like I said, you know, with the columns, that's a touchy subject. You know, from what I understand, that's not our property. We have no access to water, electricity. You know, it's kind of a, you know, I hate to say it, but tear them down. Tear them down. My idea, put the money here around the forest. As soon as you come over our bridge, where the road splits, I was thinking, just an idea, build a smaller mock setup of the columns, 15, 18 feet tall, right there with a little waterfall, water, lights shooting up toward the columns. Beautiful, beautiful, you know, not really, I don't know about the painting, lights, you know, it's kind of outdated, maybe more of a neutral color. That's kind of what I was thinking about that. I've seen a lot of issues here at the park. Just like I said, the weed blowing. I had went down there about a month ago. We had a hard rain and all that mulch was out on the parking lot. I got tired of seeing it. Driving out to work and I was seeing, okay, when's it going to be picked up? Me and my worker went down there, we swept it up, picked it up, threw it in the woods, had my four-wheeler sprayed weed killer on the grass that's growing through the asphalts, cleaned all that up. I cleaned the vines off the bridge because that was an absolute mess. Cleaned that big ditch by Gordon's. Took my chainsaw, cut some trees down. I think we spent a total of 7 hours. We got quite a bit done. That's just me and another guy. Police department, just like I said, I want to work on these guys, getting them more money. $14 an hour is still a little bit too low. I don't want to see a big revolving door.
Main two issues I'd like to address next 2 years be one being Kings Colony. They're shooting guns, playing loud music, interrupting our homeowners around. And, to work with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, the curveball identifier, keep police presence. There's already been several cases of bullets coming down over here, hitting carports and windshields. We've worked a couple cases, Chief has, and really dangerous. Roads and drainage. I've already voted to approve spending out of the budget for drainage at the end of Silver Oaks, to replace the culverts and do some ditch digging. The county's going to start on that sometime in September.
Second question. East Montgomery County is the fastest growing area of the Houston metropolitan area. As a result, East Montgomery County has increased traffic, more businesses, increased population, and increased crime. What is your stance on steering economic development of urban forest? Scott?
I think there's been some talk on annexing the PUD 3, Section 4. I think that'd be a good idea to increase tax revenue and for growth for the city.
Well, from what I understand, Galaxy, Habian Way, maybe I think the Boulevard, they can run a commercial business. With all the growing that's coming up around here, I'm afraid that we're going to have more businesses come in, commercial business, maybe not right now, maybe in a couple of years, 2, 3, 5 years, when it gets real crazy around here. I don't want to see a salvage yard or a beer joint on Happy Way. I don't see maybe we can go out and bring some businesses in. Talk to some business, see if they would want to buy in here. Storage lot would be great. Campers, RV storage lot, I think that would be really nice. But in turn, beautification, police, that's where that comes into play. Who's going to want to come and build in here when they got the bullet down there? Come in here, make it beautiful in here, around these stupid stumps, clean all that up, clean the park area up, build something in the front entryway, pay these guys more money, have better police protection, make it look like a neighborhood in 2014, not 1970. I think we're still back in the day. I really want to bring some businesses in here. Hopefully they would buy some property and build some business.
start with audience questions. 50. 5-0. Grant Miller tickets this night. 65. 25. Everybody's got tickets. 31. 'Anybody on the Office Depot ticket? 98. 33.
Excuse me for asking two questions, but when you come into the city, what a lot of people look at, to judge a city, is what the city hall, the grounds, the public grounds look like. You mentioned the driveway down at the park. Mother Nature is having her way with that. We painted stripes to support some of the 4th of July efforts, and those are temporary anyway, but we need to have permanent stripes. But my real question is, when you look at City Hall here, how many of you had to walk through the mud to get in here? We need to have a beautification. We need to have a pavement out here where people can park, walk in here, and not have to walk ankle deep in the mud. I can launch my boat in some of those holes. So I guess for the candidates, what would you do to clean up City Hall, hide the tractors and everything so that that area look better for the average person driving through there, trying to make a judgment? Do they want to move to Roman Forest, or do they want to go someplace else?
Well, Jerry, you know, that's funny that you said that. We talked about that the other day. Having this asphalted, I'm sure we can't afford concrete. Asphalt would be great. Build a fence across to hide all of, you know, the maintenance stuff over there. Now, unfortunately, these three guys have an advantage over me. I've never been in office. These three guys have an advantage as in knowing what it's going to take, mainly the budget, how much money. But I'm willing to learn that. I run my business since 2005, and it's still running. I do it full time. I get out there and I do the work with my work. I have no problem working. If I need to get out here and do the work, I will help, whatever I can do.
Jerry, it's funny you asked that question. Chief, myself, when they were paving the boulevard, we have come out and measured the parking lot for asphalt, and we're still kicking that around. That's going to be on the agenda pretty soon. The parking lot here at City Hall.
Okay, number 38. 27. 83. 28. 68.
Sorry. What do y'all do differently that you see the city's not doing now in the next 2 years? What would y'all like to see done differently, or you see if there's a flaw in the city that you'd like to fix? Anyone?
Well, I kind of feel we have a little problem with internally with maybe some maintenance issues. And I want to thank Tony for cleaning around the guardrails. It looks real good up there.
Thank you.
That bridge, man. But we have 2 maintenance men, and that is inside the city. So we'll be working on that a little bit. Get a little more communication going with Lynn and his others.
Pretty much the same thing. I'd like to get on city council to address that, whether I take charge, help out, whatever I need to do. As you can see, I've already done a little bit myself because it just drives me crazy. You know, even in the past, Carlisle's called me over the winter time when we had a freeze. I jumped on my tractor, chainsaw. We drove around the neighborhood here, chopping trees down so people can get out of the driveways, through the roads. My work is real slow in the winter time, so I got a lot of free roll my sleeves up and get dirty, however I can help. I did that during the storm, jumped on my tractor in the rain, put a slipper suit on, same thing, you know, cut trees, get them off the road, help out wherever I can. So,
1 minute.
so if I get elected, first I'll have to see what it all entails, how we go about fixing the problem, whether it's maintenance, what they're doing during the day, I do not know. But I do know it's not up to par, at least not up to my par. It looks bad. I think it should look much better. Like I said, the public coming up, if you want people coming in to run the force looking to buy land and don't want to buy it there, they're going to come in and think, holy crap, let's go back to the 70s. You know, it looks bad, and I really want to help clean it up. Thank you.
66.
Bingo. I heard talk about annexing sections 3, 4, and 5 again and again. And as a city our size, how are we going to, this is a question, how are we going to finance the infrastructure that we're responsible for? And how are you guys going to get the mud district on board to provide the services that have been left in disrepair? At this point, I'm not sure we have capacity in our sewage treatment plant or our water plant to support additional housing like that. How are we going, where are we going to get the money just for our own to pave the streets, repave the streets that we have back there from the ad valorem on empty lots? I don't think you can speak to that.
You're absolutely right. I was in the water and wastewater field for 10 years until I started my own company. And I know that's one of the problems that they do have. They won't let anybody go back there because our water and sewer plants now are overcapped. And if we're going to annex that, it's going to be a lot of money. You talk about the roads, the fire hydrants, the water mains. I'm sure there's water mains that are busted back there. They're probably losing money if it's not capped off. Not really for sure. I'm not really for sure how we're going to annex that. I just don't think the city has enough money right now to get involved in that. Whether we get grants, I'm not really for sure. Just like I said, I'm not in council. I don't know how all this works yet. But I'm definitely ready to get involved and learn as much as I can. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rory, to answer your question, I visited with the water department here about last week, and they actually have 9 leaking water lines in that section back there that they're working on. So fixing here one at a time. And as far as the roads, you know, we could go after a bond, but bond equals higher taxes. That would be a fast fix. Grant, if you go after a grant, taxes wouldn't go up, and that'd be a long-term fix. Of course, we could, you know, fix a road here and there, maybe do a year. That would be my opinion.
94. 79.
In the previous debate, there was a lot of discussion and talk about financial reports and fraud in those financial reports from previous administrations. Given based on what Councilman Baker knows, which he probably has a little more insight, Mr. Garza, you're probably a little more, you don't have the advantages there to see.
Yeah.
Based on what y'all know, is there any fraud that has taken place in previous administrations with those reports?
Nobody's been found guilty of anything. There is an investigation going on, and I've been a part of it, and a lot of it was behind closed doors, closed session. So do that again. So it was, it should, I've heard there's going to be a statement out tomorrow in the paper. So maybe that'll be better. So.
Well, just like you said, I don't know what all went on. All that was behind closed doors. I only know by what I hear. And I'm the type of guy, I don't really listen to rumors until someone's arrested. Then I'll cast my judgment. I'm not saying anything about who's guilty, who's not. That's just how I am until, like I said, until someone is arrested, and then that's proof to me.
48.
I have a two-part question. What's the advantage to annex on 3 and 4 and rebuilding their infrastructure when we need to rebuild 1 and 2's infrastructure? And the second part is, why would we spend a lot of money on beautifying the city when people's homes are flooded? Wouldn't we be better served to fix those problems first and then beautify the city? And we've talked about nobody wants to move in here because the city's not pretty. Well, when they see water laying in the ditches and we talk to people whose homes are flooding, why would they want to buy here in the first place? I'd like you both to address that.
Well, I don't have a flooding problem, and just like I said, I really don't know what all goes on here at City Hall because I'm not involved. So I don't know who else's houses are flooded. I do know it's an issue, and I know it's been going on for how many years? Years and years, for what I hear. Past, when Floyd was mayor, they had issues back then, and it's still not fixed. To me, beautification is a very cheap and more of a guiding manual labor, making sure things are done. When it comes to digging the ditches, that's a lot of money, which I understand it's a big issue with a lot of residents. But what I'm talking about is, to me, it would be a cheap fix. Beautification is, to me, is not going to cost a lot of money.
What about the annexation?
Annexation, 3 and 4. I think whenever Tabolo's booms and grows, I'm thinking that someone's going to come in and buy those. And whether, I'm afraid of the city of Houston may come in and annex all this. Hope not. Hope they don't annex Tabolo. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know if I'm for or against annexation back here because, like I said, I'm still getting involved in all this. So I don't know what all it entails. There's a lot of maintenance going on back there. There's a lot of work and a lot of money. So I do not know if it's a good idea or not to annex it. Just like you said, I think we should focus on Roman Forest here. Focus on where we're living at now. Spend the money here.
As far as I'm aware of, there's only been one house flooded, right, in the neighborhood. That's up front.
No.
On what's your street?
Well, I've had water in my house, and I know 2 houses on Magnolia Bend that have water.
Okay. We're working on the drainage issue, and I have passed, money to be spent on it, and I'll keep working on it. The last thing I want somebody to get water in their house. And the very first one, I rode around with the mayor, Mayor Ricks, 3 or 4 times during big rains. We've got everything wrote down, just trying to get everything, all the money right to work on. And the one at Silver Oaks seemed to be the worst to me because it's about, almost going to this guy's house every time. Not quite sure. I've only known that one house flooded up front. So, as far as the annexation in the back, I think it'd probably be a good thing. And to get all the 9 water pipes fixed that's leaking, we'll probably be able to support water back there.
Water's not the city's problem, though.
Okay.
Okay, 67. 4. 73. 86. 69. 99.
How about that? I want to give it to somebody. I don't want to use it.
Would somebody like her ticket?
I have a question if there's no people.
Okay.
I heard Conley and Floyd talk about Kings Colony quite a bit when they were debating, but my question to you guys is, who out of the two of you are going to actually stand up and do something about Kings Colony? I live on the front lines. I know Chief is tired of hearing from me on a weekly basis. I mean, literally a month ago, there was bullets raining down on the storage shed, which is 50 yards from my house, while I was outside with my children. I mean, it's a every weekend thing. And I honestly feel like the only person that's getting their hands dirty in this is Carlisle, and I appreciate your efforts. And the police, I mean, I literally lost it on one of our officers this weekend, was it you? No. No, and then it was another I mean, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, or maybe not quite that late, it was late. Me and my husband had to get up for work on Sundays, and, we have to, he has to be up at 4, and here it is, 1 o'clock in the morning, and there's still music going crazy, and violence, and there's everything else. Who's going to do something about it besides telling me to call immigration or something else?
Let me answer that. I don't usually tell a lot of people. I ride around the police department quite often, and we've been back to Kings Colony, and we hadn't forgot about it. I mean, me and the chief, we rode back there, and the guy pulled a gun out, had it to his side when we drove by. I know how dangerous it is, and I will not forget about that Kings Colony back there. We will work on it.
Well, I've heard that numerous times, but now I'm being told just you need to call immigration, you need to call the sheriff's department, but all the sheriff's department is doing is dispatching our police, which they can't do it by themselves. So who on council is going to stand up behind their citizens? I mean, not everybody lives on Athens or Hummingbird right there by it. I don't know the streets in the back that are right there, but I mean, somebody's got to stand up and help us because I can't do it by myself. I waged a war against them calling immigration every day for weeks. And it got quiet for a while, but now it's coming back full force, if not worse.
First of all, I'd like to say that I'm sorry that you live there. You have to pay the same amount of taxes that we pay, but you live there. Conley lives there. Some people's homes back up to that. I had been back there twice in my regular vehicle just to scope it out and see what's going on. As I said, these guys here have more of an advantage because they know what's going on, get to drive around. I don't. I'm new at this. Like I said, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And unfortunately, my last name's Garza, but I can't speak Spanish. I would say if I knew Spanish, I can go back there and whatever I can do, I would love to help. I know there's a lot going on back there, and I know it's dangerous. And that's exactly why these poor officers need more money. I think if they recruit and become low grass, they can make more money. I apologize. I'll help out however I can. Yes, ma'am.
I had a previous number, can I use it now?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Regarding Kings Colony, I've heard that there is some way of going through the state legislature to combat, to request only for this county of Montgomery that we
take control of what is considered gray areas where there is no control over them. They don't have to pay taxes for police or fire and that type of thing. I was wondering if you were aware of anything like that that might be happening, or I've heard the topic come up that it would be more probable to get it passed if only we went forward as Montgomery County and not as a whole state, that maybe the legislature would grant it to Montgomery County.
Well, if they're not paying taxes and not getting in trouble for it, I'd sure like to know how they're doing it.
Like Scott said, they're living out in the woods. They have outhouses for bathrooms. The sewer runs on the ground. This is, I'm sure it's just a few, I'm sure they all don't live like that. I'm sure there's good people back there, but a few bad apples ruin it for the whole subdivision. I have met a few people back in the subdivision. I've helped someone was stuck in a ditch over there, and I helped them pull them out. Real nice people. But that being said, it's sorry.
Can I address this just for a minute? I look heavily into Kings Colony, and I still work with Lenora, with other entities. Kings Colony is, you don't have an nth of what's going on in Kings Colony with the human trafficking, with the children that are being sold as sex slaves, with the adults that are taking place, the drugs that are taking place. This community back here is totally illegal, and we cannot get the county to do anything about it. In order to sell property in the state of Texas, you have to have a developer, has to have a plan for it, you have to have water, you have to have sewer, or you're selling acreage. Well, they're selling lots, and they have none of that. It's all illegal. They're selling illegal titles for these pieces of property. They've got, and this is a real elaborate scheme. They've got pictures and postcards that they're producing in Mexico, El Salvador, and South and Central America that are showing houses in the woodlands that are telling these people that this is what's available up here. They're selling these lots anywhere from $10,000 to $60,000. They're reselling these lots because they're personally financed. So somebody will come in and they'll pay $5,000 or $10,000 for it, and they don't pay it off, and then they end up leaving. It's not just an issue with the noise. It's a drug cartel, and it's bad. We will not send, for those of you who don't know, I'm on the board for the hospital district. We won't send an ambulance back there without backup. It's that bad, and trust me, I feel for you. We've taken this to Ted Poe's office. We've taken it to the state legislature. We've talked to the commissioners. Nobody wants to touch it. Environmentally, they should come down and shut it completely down and run everybody out. I don't know all of the spider web that's there, but trust me, it's huge. I went to Cleveland because the same organization was buying 2,000 acres in Cleveland to do the exact same thing. This is colonies that do this in South and Central America, do the exact same thing. They're central, they have the complete control over it, they have their own police force. Everything is done within there, and it's happening in our nation, in our state, in our county, and we cannot get the support that we need.
Claim that those lots were grandfathered in because the subdivision was back there at the same time. The same developer developed this subdivision that developed that, which is Roy Harris
develop most subdivisions, it's just on us tied up into it pretty heavily back there.
And that all becomes part of the issue. It's tough, and I feel for Steve, and for those of you that are backed up to it, it's nothing that this council can do by themselves without your support, without your not only contacting them, but continue to contact your congressman, contact your state reps, and contact your county government to get it. It's going to take everybody coming together. ICE won't come in here by themselves and do it. We've been working on this problem for a few years now, and it's disgusting.
It's 2009. July 4th, 2009 was when the first trailer went there.
When you see the stuff that goes on there, when you see the little teddy bears with a diaper pulled down, or with the tennis shoes with the shoes untied, the shoestrings untied, that's telling you there's either a boy or a girl in there that's used for sex trafficking. It saddens my heart when you see people. And you know, I grew up in Southern Cal, went to Tijuana a lot, and saw people living in better conditions than what they're living there. When you've got pallets that are being used for them to sleep on, and they're making 2 decks and maybe a piece of tin over the top of it, they're using water containers to bring in their water because they have none. They're stealing outhouses from job sites. They're digging holes. When the floods come, there's nothing there. The sewage is all over the ground. Trust me, it's a bigger issue than this city council can do on its own, and it's going to take your involvement to get it fixed. I'm sorry, I hate to get on the soapbox, but it infuriates me that this continues on in our county, and it's East County, and the rest of the county doesn't give a rat's. We've got to stay on this. Sorry. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
What's with the human trafficking you were talking about? What's the first I've heard anything about that? What other agencies know about this and nothing's been done about it?
Yes, I sit in on part of that organization. We have an organization in Houston talking about the human trafficking as well with the Pastors Council that I'm on. It's alive and well. It has been addressed at a number of meetings with Congressman. Lenora Purvis can give you pictures and all kinds of information if you want to contact her. And you know, it might be a good idea if City Council would think about putting on an information night on Kings Colony, and letting you see some of the pictures that the chief has been out there, and some of the things that are transpiring, and find out some of the things that are actually taking place. And you can bring people that guest speakers that will tell you about, and I can't remember what the Spanish name or Hispanic name or Mexican name or
So why haven't you just been on the news?
for colonies.
Now, we all have kids out here.
They won't touch it.
It's one thing
Who have you been to?
It's one thing to know somebody's guilty, it's another thing to prove it.
So what can we do? We all have kids and grandkids out here, and I want my kid to disappear and over and back to Kings Colony being sold into sex slavery. I mean, it's bad enough the music and the bullets flying, and now this just makes everything way off from what we knew was going on.
That's why we're so vigilant patrolling around this area, is to try to keep that down and try to catch everybody and get them out of here. And we've made a big dent, but it's still happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
First, I want to let everyone be aware that the city did not purchase all of the pictures in the room. Don't think the tax dollars are getting spent that way when there's other projects to do. My husband and I donated all these pictures. However, I do have a question for you guys. Life beautification, and why should I vote for you? Besides drainage beautification. Besides drainage and beautification of roads, why should I vote for either one of you?
Police protection. Better police protection. Higher paid police protection. So you can feel safer at your home. I have two young girls, 16 and 12. Just like this lady said, that's new information to me. You know, I'm green. All these gentlemen here was green at one time. They got involved in city council. They learned a lot what's going on. I'm learning a lot myself, and it's startling to hear what's going on back there. I never knew that myself. I want my girls to be safe. So if I can't talk about beautification, I can talk about my office.
Reread the question. What was her question?
Why should I vote for you besides roads, infrastructure, beautification, and ditches?
You know, I've been through the battle. I served on this council for the last 4 years. I've been through the regime change, the mayor changes. I work good with this council. We all get along good with the mayor. And with the city hall, I approved to spend the money to build these desks and beautification, I guess. And I did pass to spend the money out of the budget, the new budget, for the biggest police raises in Roman Force history for the cops. So, and I'm working with Chief Garza to get the entry level pay for the officers to around $20. That's our goal. Next year or two.
Yes, ma'am.
Mine's question, I want to know, we all seem to be pretty much on the same wavelength when it comes to what needs to be done. I hear a lot of the same thing, and that's great. And I know by being just 2 or few meetings that's hard to get done because of politics. Not everybody agrees. But is there anyone on the board who checks into grants? Is that something, I mean, you hear of cities all the time, you have a lot of different grants. Is there someone who does that on our campus? That's their job?
We've got the #1 grant writer right there. He is the best grant writer.
And #2.
City secretary.
So is there progress with that? Is that helpful for us, or?
It is. Most grants, you got the 33% that you have to pay.
Okay. I was just wondering, because money is definitely seems to be one of our biggest issues. I was just
Can I answer that?
You sure can.
You know, we've done several grants through the improvement district, and on that grant, you have to match 33%. So since I started doing grants on the pool, they do grants twice a year. I have done a grant to MSED every single time except this last time, because the last grant I had asked for was a lot of money, and I kind of got frowned on from the MSED board for asking for so much money. So I kind of gave them a break this time. I have been working with the Montgomery County Grant Administrator and Carlisle. But there's a grant administrator that is there at our disposal that looks for grants for us. She helped me with the Texas Parks and Wildlife grant to go after more park equipment as well as fitness equipment around the walking trail. She's also looking for a grant for us, and I do have an email, I hadn't had a chance to look at it, for drainage. So that's through Texas Agriculture. And so that would probably be an even tougher grant to get. This last grant through Texas Parks and Wildlife took me about 3 weeks of nothing but working on that grant day and night to get done, because it takes so much. They ask so many questions. So yes, we are actively doing searching for grants to help. Yes.
Well, I was just wondering if there was something. But you're working hard.
And we are, yes, and we are receiving So drainage and the roads, you're talking about millions of dollars. You're not talking about $100,000. You're talking about millions of dollars, and some grants you have to match 50% of. We don't have $500,000. You know, so we have to try to figure out what we can do to help raise the money to do that.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to thank the candidates for coming out tonight. They've got closing statements still, but for going through this, it's not easy sitting up here as a candidate answering the questions, and it's almost like you're not under attack, but you kind of feel that way sometimes. But you close. You start. Who's the opened up? I can't remember. Tony opened up.
Yeah, Tony.
I have one more question before. I'd like to address this gentleman here who's been on the council for the last 4 years. Why are we sending our police officers into Kings Colony in the danger of their personal safety whenever we got the constables and the county sheriff's office that has legal authority over that? I'm not even sure that our officers have legal authority out there since it's outside the city. You know, and what it seems like that these are the only guys that respond, and, you know, are you asking or requesting help from the other law enforcement?
Well, let me address that one to the chief. That's his line now, but I do know that the county has come out, the constable's office has come out and assisted at times, and yes, he has a jurisdiction there.
The best way to answer that without getting negative or anything about the
Short of manpower
would be the sheriff department is primarily a reactive police department. They're going from call to call to call to call. We're a proactive police department. That's the benefit of being a city and having your own law enforcement is we are proactive. We see the problem in advance and we run it out. So we have a little extra time. And when a call dispatches, we have an interlocal agreement with the county. They're busy going call, and it's going to take them 3 or 4 hours to get to the call. They can just see fit just to go ahead and dispatch us because we're right next door. And when we need help, it works the other way too. If we need help and we need backup, they'll dispatch a Splendor unit or a county unit to come and help us. Or if we only have one officer on duty and we've taken somebody to jail, the county will come over here and run a call for us too. So we all help each other by contract. We're kind of obligated to help each other.
And if something bad was to happen to one of your officers, you know, if he's something disabled or something, they're going to compensate him for the rest of his life.
We have insurance for that. Unfortunately, that's the risk that officers do take daily when they get out of bed in the morning.
But it's not a possibility.
Are you reimbursed for that time that we're out there doing that wild goose chase through all those streets?
We are. When we're out on a traffic stop and we need help, they come and help us. When Splendora's out here helping us today because I'm short-handed and I don't have anybody here, I don't have suitable amount of officers to help with the crowd control or anything just in case something got out of hand. We have 2 Splendor officers over here to help us. If it wasn't National Night Out, I'd have a couple of constables over here helping us. We all help each other by contract, actually. And the county dispatches us. They don't charge us a dime. If we were to have a dispatch, it would cost us probably 5 or 6 employees round the clock to dispatch our officers. We just can't afford that. The sheriff department does that for us. So yes, we do get reimbursed for it by trade.
I've discussed this with you before. I think what you guys said, you don't have actual jurisdiction back there.
Yes,
yes.
Our municipal court don't have jurisdiction back there, but I do. I am, he is, we're all state of Texas police officers. Our commissioner through the state of Texas, handled by the local authority. So if I was to write a ticket back there, it would go to Judge Metz.
Okay, closing statement, Scott.
Well, I'd like to thank y'all once again for coming out, doing this debate. I'm sorry if I felt I've been kind of nervous up here. I can give a 70-man safety meeting at work, but not even this nervous. Just want to touch on, I've been through the battle up here. I've given the police raise, the biggest raise again, in City of Roman Forest history. And I've approved grants for the swimming pool that is self-sustaining for the first time in history of the pool, I believe. We're not losing $15,000 to $18,000 a year anymore. And I appreciate you guys vote November 4th.
Well, you guys know why I want to get involved. And just to let you guys know, the police did get a raise, but they haven't got one in 4 years. Not even a 3% raise. It's been 4 years that they hadn't got a raise. So they got a raise now. Thank you, City Council, for approving that. You guys know where I stand. I want to clean the city up. I want to make it pretty. If we make it pretty, I think we'll give people coming in here, buying houses, buying land. That's going to bring our tax base up. We'll have more money to spend. Get us back out in the 70s. Build our police force up. That's really what I'm leaning toward. And of course, just like I said, I'm green. These guys have been in here. They was in my position at one time. They didn't know. They learned a lot. I'm willing to learn a lot. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I will get out there and manually work with you guys and spend your money correctly. Like I said, I run my own business. Built out here in 2005, 2011. Me and my wife right here, we're debt-free. From doing that, from me budgeting, me doing all the invoicing, paying the monthly bills, separating all my receipts for the year-end taxes, and I'm good with numbers. I'm good with money. I can put money where it needs to go to get the job done. Like I said, we're debt-free. She's a stay-at-home mom. I get some meals cooked, but I'm just asking for your vote. We're going to clean the place up. I have already. I've had me and my worker.
1 minute.
We've done work in here for free. Never asked. I love Roman Forest, and I want to make it nice. I want to make it beautiful. And I'm asking for your vote. And and Scott Baker. I respect the guy. He's a good guy. We just have different visions, and that's it. Other than that, he's a great guy. Thank you.
I'd like to rebuttal a little bit on that. Touch on that. Not giving their police raises there for a couple of years. As Conley had said, we just didn't have money in the budget. The money wasn't there. Floyd says it was there, but we studied that budget. We had budget meetings after budget meeting. You know yourself, the money wasn't there. Yeah, we cut something and not have money for something else. When we wrote over $7,000 when the air conditioner was going out to the city hall, and we didn't know if we were having money to fix it. And I just want you to know that we rolled over the first year with Mayor Riggs, $98,000, $89,000. Police got a raise, biggest raise in history. So,
I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. I looked for property and a house out here in Roman Forest, and if I had any place to live in Montgomery County other than where I'm at now, it'd be out here. I love the community, the people, the willingness of people like Tony to be able to come out and help one another when the trees are down or whatever. I know that there's problems, I know that there's issues, but you've still got to be the best community in Montgomery County. Thanks for coming out. I beg you, stay involved. Don't just show up for meetings like this. Get with your city council members, show up for city council, talk to the commissioner's office, get involved and try to get these issues fixed. It's been a long time. It's not gonna happen overnight. You don't have the money to do it, just like Liz said, we're talking millions of dollars to redo things. I sat here and I listened to everything going on with the boulevard, with the widening and the bike lane and all of that was going back and forth. There's things you just can't fix that easy. So stay involved. Early voting starts the 20th, and I just ask for you to get out and vote, get your neighbors to vote, and remember that this is a nonpartisan race, so it's towards the bottom of the ballot, and thank you.